Yesterday afternoon, about 5 minutes after we finished editing the show, the heavens opened up and rained justice down on us all. That's right, Donald Trump got indicted. Here's some footage of us reacting to the news. And here's some footage of us realizing that we still had some work to do. But then, the work did itself, because Trump sent out a tweet saying he had been indicated. Sir, that's kind of you to try and write the jokes for us. It's lovely, really, but we're professionals. We can handle it. Mike Pence and Ron DeSantis came out to defend the former president, then followed up with, but if he did go to jail for some reason and you needed someone else to vote for, maybe there's someone else that could work. Maybe that person's been right in front of you all along. Vote for me, Elaine. I've wanted your vote since the first minute I laid eyes on you. Next Tuesday, Trump will be arraigned, which means mugshots and inky fingers are coming along with more jokes from us. But in the meantime, here's what I want you to do. I want you to treat yourself today. Get a pedicure, buy yourself that Pope jacket, have a chocolate milkshake with extra whipped cream on top and sprinkles. You deserve it just as much as Trump deserves prison. Earlier this week, tragedy struck as a drag queen read aloud to several children and their unarmed parents. After the dangerous story time, there were reports that many of the children were allowed to leave, and in fact were not required to attend in the first place. The final extent of the damage done is not currently known, but thankfully the body count so far remains at 0. However, it has still been 0 days since the last mass shooting in the U.S. It's pretty much always 0 days. Tucker Carlson, famous for making bow ties racist, is suddenly mad about people having guns. That's right, he says NPR, the people that brought you the sound and fury that is Terry Gross, are stoking the flames of conflict to encourage trans people to take up arms.
What you're watching here is political hysteria, fear, ginned up on purpose with maximum dishonesty in order to get people in a state of agitation, armed people in a state of agitation.
Wow, so self-aware. Guys, I think I know how to solve gun control in this country. Every single gay, lesbian, transgender, black, and Muslim person in this country needs to go out right now and buy 2 guns. We'll have gun control legislation passed by next Tuesday, and then we can melt all the guns down and make a giant statue of Tucker Carlson eating Cheetos. Texas Senator John Cornyn, who is definitely a Republican, told the press that the government has, quote, gone about as far as they can go on gun control. The GPS on his phone confirms that distance as all the way to the bank. The Republican Thoughts and Prayers Party continued with Tennessee Governor Bill Lee, who had this to say.
This is not a time for hate or rage.
Well, our babies are getting slaughtered, but sorry for being so cranky about it. I will reschedule my rage for, let's see, looks like next Tuesday is pretty open. But the pièce de résistance came from Tennessee Representative and noted weak person Tim Burchett.
It's a horrible, horrible situation, and we're not going to fix it.
Pull up a chair, it's story time. So I walk my kid to school every day through an intersection that can be a little dicey. One day we were crossing the street and a car started coming at us, not paying attention. Did I say, well, looks like that car's gonna kill my kid. Nice knowing you, Junior. No, I put my body between the car and my kid and I waved my arms and I screamed to get the car to stop. And I damn sure yelled the F word at him in front of a number of small children, which I then had to apologize for. I fought for my kid to not be killed. I didn't accept it as fate. I didn't give up. We never give up on our kids. When our kids get sick, do we just say, oh, bummer, well, that's how it goes sometimes? No, we take them to doctors and we get them medicine and we make them soup and we remortgage our house and clear out our 401k if we have to, and we never stop fighting for them. The sickness affecting our kids right now is guns. Guns are the #1 killer of kids and teens for the 2nd year in a row. I'm a mom, and it's my job to fight for my kids, to die for them if necessary. And if you're not ready to fight harder for our kids' safety, John Cornyn and Tim Burchett and Bill Lee and all the rest of you, then you're pathetic. Or as Representative Jamal Bowman put it,
they don't have the courage. They're cowards.
It's no surprise that Trump held his first official rally for his 2024 presidential bid in Waco, Texas. Waco, voted America's #1 place to get sexually assaulted by a pervy cult leader. In classic Donnie fashion, the former president did something unintentionally funny by opening with a sizzle reel of January 6th and his hot new collab with the January 6th Choir, which is made up of imprisoned rioters. Now, some are calling this creepy, just plain weird, or fascist, but we think everyone should be forced to give speeches in front of compilations of their past crimes, like Gwyneth Paltrow getting an Emmy in front of the footage of hitting that dude on a ski slope, OJ showing up anywhere with some Ford Bronco footage behind him, or me presenting this show in front of that incident from the Applebee's parking lot. I'm sure there will be plenty more opportunities for Donnie to do bizarre things like this because, unlike that guy in the Applebee's parking lot, he'll be here, there, and everywhere for the next year and a half. Yay! Trump said he could bring peace to Russia and Ukraine in just 24 hours, but he's playing coy on the details.
I will have it solved in 24 hours with Zelensky and with Putin. And there's a very easy negotiation to take place, but I don't want to tell you what it is.
My solution for the Ukraine war goes to another school. You wouldn't know her, but she's hot, very into me. Lets me grab her by the peace treaty. Folks, no hyperbole here. This is the most important news story ever. You know, we talk a lot on this show about the concept of the Florida man, a dude on meth wrestling a gator, that sort of thing. But what about the Florida woman? Well, we have found a shining example of that concept. Meet Della Draper. Now, Della was riding in a taxi and the driver asked if she wanted to have a threesome, so she said sure, like you do. But then she insulted the taxi driver's junk as well as his wife, so a scuffle ensued, cinder blocks were thrown, and yes, just a reminder that this all happened in Florida, and then the cops showed up. 2 days later, the cops arrived once again after Della hit her baby daddy in the face with a vase full of rocks. All of these things occurred while Della was out on bond from a previous incident of resisting arrest. And during that incident, she tried to have sex with her fellow arrestee in the back of the squad car on the way to jail. When the officer pulled over to stop them, she asked the officer if he wanted to see her asshole. Della Draper, congratulations on winning our Florida Woman of the Year award. We will mail the trophy to whichever one of your relatives is still talking to you while you're in the clink, and it will be made out of styrofoam and velvet because there's no telling what you'll try to do with that thing. If you'd like your very own Welcome to Florida, Wanna See My Asshole merch, head on over to our store right now. Links in the description. After grilling the CEO of TikTok for hours and causing the youngins to once again bust out the term zaddy, Congress is pushing forward with legislation that would give the government access to, well, whatever and for reasons. We as Americans must support our government with this extremely patriotic move, this act, if you will. Hey, I wonder if it's too late to change the name. A Delta passenger decided to test the limits of what trip insurance will cover by opening the door and jumping out of the plane while it was taxiing on the runway. The CEO of Delta is said to have taken inspiration from this and similar incidents and is working with the marketing department to exploit this growing segment of the market, the disgruntled air passenger. At Delta, we know flying can be stressful, especially when you're crazy and or drunk. We're now offering packages exclusively for our most disgruntled passengers. Over in economy, we offer the tarmac and back ride, where we taxi away from the gate and then right back, just long enough for you to throw a quick fit. For our platinum, diamond, gold, plutonium elite status members, we're offering our mystery tour package. Which airport will your flight be rerouted to after you pound a few mini bottles and scream about the government? You'll love finding out. All of our seats come with a free roll of duct tape, which is like a weighted blanket, but for air travel. Sit back, relax, and then stand up and punch a flight attendant. Delta's ready to take your money either way. Delta, keep climbing the walls. In a joy to bullies everywhere who thought their jobs might have been a bit too difficult, Grimes has changed her baby's name to a simple question mark. The name, to be pronounced Y by absolutely nobody, is supposed to represent curiosity and the eternal question. And boy, howdy, it sure does raise a lot of questions like, do you even like your baby? And why not give Elon a swing at the name? I've always wondered how the government would handle a series of emojis on a tax return. And finally tonight, good news for all you AI fans out there as Bing is rolling out its new image generator to more users. In other news, NASA has released photos of our lunar explorers as they boldly rode their moon horses across the surface of our celestial neighbor back in '72. That wraps up this week's episode. Go hug your kids.
Yeah,